Hello, welcome to all. In this video, we are going to discuss about liability to pay in certain cases. In certain cases, who will pay the tax? Regularly, who will pay? Supplier will pay. But in case of reverse charge mechanism, RCM reverse charge recipient will pay. But in certain cases, they will pay some persons other than main persons. This is related to that person. First definition. First, section 85, liability in case of transfer of business. Here, where transferor plus transferee jointly and severally liable for pre-transfer dues. Pre-transfer dues are liabilities. That is where there is a change in ownership. Due to death or there is a transfer. That transfer may be by sale or gift or lease or leave or license or hire or any other manner whatsoever name the taxable person and the person to whom the business is so transferred shall jointly and severally liable for to the what extent the such transfer taken place, to what extent the transfer took place, up to the time of such transfer. It is up to the transfer of such transfer. Whether such tax, interest or penalty has been determined before such transfer but has remained unpaid or determined thereafter. What is happened here? What is happened here means where person is transferring one business to another person. H is the one person. M is another person. H is transferring business to M. M is the unrelated person. Even though he is the unrelated person, he will liable for my liability after the transfer. But up to the liability of transfer. That is the first case. Here, where the transfer of business, such business either in his own name or some other name, he shall be liable to pay tax on supply of goods or services both effected by him with effect from date of such transfer. Next, further, he is registered person under this act. He shall apply within prescribed time of amendment for his certificate of registration. Next, transferee shall be liable to pay any tax, interest, any penalty due for the transferor in case of death or sole proprietor. Next, section 86, liability of agent and principal. Where principal plus agent both are jointly and severally liable when agent supplies or receives on behalf of principal. That is section 86. Next, section 87 deals that liability in case of amalgamation or merger of companies. Order of amalgamation or merger passed on the data but effective from earlier data. Here, for GST dues, two companies shall be treated as distinctive person till the date of order. So, the said two persons shall be treated as distinctive companies till the date of order. Order of amalgamation or merger. Till the date of order, the two companies treated as distinctive person. Next, liability, section 88. Liability in case of company in liquidation. Here one receiver will be appointed and he shall intimate to the commissioner within 30 days. After his appointment. Who is a person, liquidator or recipient, receiver will intimate his appointment to the commissioner where company is in liquidation position. Section 88. Next, here then commissioner will notify the dues within next 3 months. From the date of receipt of notification. And if it is a company, private company, then directors shall remain liable jointly and severally. jointly and severally. If it is a private company, the director shall remain liable for jointly and severally. Next, summary of the above discussions. Liability in case of companies in liquidation. Liquidator shall give the intimation of his appointment to the commissioner within 30 days of his appointment. So within 30 days he will give the intimation to the proper officer, that is commissioner, and after that information the commissioner may make such inquiry or call for such information as he may deem fit, and after that commissioner shall notify the liquidator the amount sufficient to provide for tax, interest, penalty payable or likely to be payable by the company within 3 months of receipt of intimation of the liquidator. Next, after that, if such tax, interest, penalty cannot be recovered from the company, every director during the period is jointly and severally liable to pay it unless he proves that the non-recovery cannot be attributable to any gross negligence, misfeasance or breach of duty of his part. That is related to section 88. Next, section 89. Liability of director of private company. Liability of director of private company. If company is a private company, director shall remain liable jointly and severally. However, if private company is converted into public company, if the private company is converted into public company, then director shall not be liable. That is section 89. Next, section 90. Liability in case of partners of firm. Section 90. Here firm plus partners jointly and severally liable for dues, where in case of retiring partner will continue to be liable till he gives his notice to the retirement of the commissioner. So if any person is retired, he must intimate to the commissioner within 1 month of retirement. If he intimated to the commissioner, then his liability will be stopped. If he is not intimated to the commissioner, even though he is retired, his liability will be continued. Next, section 91. Section 91 related to liability of guardians or trustees, where guardians or trustees of minor or incapacitated person liable for dues as if minor was a major and conduct business himself, or incapacitated person was capacitated person and conducting business himself. So unless otherwise, the guardians will be liable for liability. Next, section 92. Section 92 related to liability of court of wards. Here the person up to his estate of taxable person under control of court of wards, administrator or general or official trustee or any receiver or manager shall be liable to pay dues to the extent of his estate. Next, special provisions relating to section 93. Section 93 is related to in case of a death of a person. Liability will be legal representative. Here we will bifurcate into two categories. That is, if the business is continued, legal representative will remain liable. Or if the business is discontinued after his death, then legal representative will remain liable to the extent of estate of inherited. Next, in case of HUF or AOPs, partition of assets among members. Each member will be jointly and severally liable for the dues. Next, if on dissolution of firm, partnership firm is dissolved, partners will remain liable jointly and severally. Next, termination of guardianship and trustee. Guardian and trust will remain liable even though they are terminated. Next, section 94. Section 94 related to liability in other cases. where partnership firm HUF AOP business is discontinued. Assessment can be still completed. Then partner from HUF or AOP change in constitution. Then they will remain liable jointly or severally. Next, if a partnership firm change in constitution of firm or AOP, next, then jointly or severally will be liable. Next, dissolution of firm, partners or members will remain liable for jointly or severally. This is dissolution related. That is this case. Explanation for the purpose of this chapter. A limited liability, that is LLP, formed and registered under provisions of LLP Partnership Act shall also be considered as firm. It is not a body corporate. It is a firm only. Here court means district court, high court or supreme court. It is related to liability in certain cases.